In a stunning revelation that's shaking the foundations of global technology, Huawei has achieved what many thought impossible, testing a homegrown extreme ultraviolet lithography machine, the crown jewel of semiconductor manufacturing. To understand just how earth-shattering this is, imagine someone building a Formula One car from scratch after only seeing pictures of one racing around a track. For years, this technology has been the exclusive domain of Dutch company ASML, whose machines are so complex and expensive that each one costs more than a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. These technological marvels, requiring 40 shipping containers just to transport, have been completely off-limits to Chinese companies due to Western sanctions. When those sanctions came down, Western experts confidently predicted it would take China at least 15 years to catch up. They couldn't have been more wrong. In what can only be described as a technological quantum leap, Huawei has not only developed its own EUV system, but has done so using an entirely different approach that could revolutionize how we make advanced computer chips. What we're witnessing isn't just technological evolution, it's a revolution in semiconductor manufacturing, says Dr. Sarah Chen, a leading semiconductor industry analyst. Huawei isn't playing catch-up anymore. They're charting an entirely new course that could make advanced chip production more accessible than we ever imagined possible. At the heart of this breakthrough is a deceptively simple yet ingenious technology called laser-induced discharge plasma, or LDP. While ASML's machines use complex laser systems to create plasma, Huawei's approach takes a different path. By vaporizing tin between electrodes and applying high voltage, they've created a system that can produce the exact wavelength of extreme ultraviolet light needed to etch circuits just 3 nanometers wide, about 30,000 times thinner than a human hair. The implications are staggering. This isn't just about making computer chips, it's about reshaping the entire global technology landscape. These advanced chips are the building blocks of everything from artificial intelligence and quantum computers to autonomous vehicles and next-generation smartphones. Whoever controls this technology essentially holds the keys to the digital future. The genius of Huawei's approach lies in its elegant simplicity, explains Dr. James Morrison, a veteran semiconductor engineer. While Western companies have built increasingly complex and expensive systems, Huawei has found a way to achieve similar results with a potentially smaller and more cost-effective solution. It's like comparing a Swiss watch to a digital timepiece. Both tell time accurately, but one is far simpler to produce. But this breakthrough didn't happen in isolation. It's part of a massive, coordinated effort by China to break free from Western technological dominance. The country's big fund has poured over $50 billion into semiconductor research and development, creating what one industry expert calls the Manhattan Project of the digital age. The urgency of this push is reflected in Huawei's aggressive timeline. The company plans to begin trial production in the third quarter of 2025, with mass production scheduled for 2026. They're not just making promises, they're backing them up with massive investments, including a state-of-the-art R&D campus in Shanghai, where they're recruiting top semiconductor talent from around the world. What we're seeing is unprecedented in the history of semiconductor technology, notes Dr. Michael Roberts, a leading industry consultant. No country has ever attempted to develop such advanced technology while being cut off from global supply chains. The fact that China is making this progress despite these obstacles is nothing short of remarkable. The irony hasn't been lost on industry observers. The very sanctions intended to contain China's technological advancement may have instead accelerated it. By cutting off access to Western technology, the US and its allies effectively force China to innovate in ways they might never have attempted otherwise. This technological earthquake has sent tremors through the entire industry. ASML's CEO, who confidently claimed China was still 10 to 15 years behind just months ago, now faces a reality where his company's monopoly might be challenged sooner than anyone expected. Even NVIDIA, the US chip giant that dominates AI computing, has started warning investors about Huawei's rapid advances. The stakes couldn't be higher. As Professor Wei Chang of Beijing's Institute of Semiconductor Research puts it, this isn't just about manufacturing computer chips, it's about technological sovereignty and the future of digital innovation. Whoever masters this technology will have a decisive advantage in shaping the future of computing. As we stand at this technological crossroads, the implications are beginning to ripple through the global economy. Chinese regulators have launched investigations into NVIDIA's business practices, sending a clear message that they're no longer content being dependent on Western technology. Meanwhile, major tech companies worldwide are scrambling to reassess their supply chains and strategic plans. Dr. Elena Zhang, Director of Global Tech Policy at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, observes, "This development fundamentally alters the balance of power in global technology. We're not just seeing technological competition, we're witnessing the emergence of a new technological order. The global semiconductor market, worth over $600 billion, is bracing for what could be its biggest transformation since the invention of the integrated circuit. The assumptions that have guided this industry for decades are being challenged, and the implications extend far beyond just making computer chips. This is about who will control the fundamental technology that powers our digital world. The technological disruption isn't just confined to manufacturing, it's already sending shockwaves through the artificial intelligence industry. In a bold move that's left industry veterans stunned, Huawei has unveiled plans for what they call the Atlas Superpods, AI computing clusters that could potentially dethrone NVIDIA's dominance in artificial intelligence processing. "We're looking at computing power that exceeds anything currently available," explains Dr. Marcus Chen, former director of AI architecture at a leading Silicon Valley firm. The Atlas 950 Superpod isn't just an incremental improvement, it's a quantum leap that could redefine what's possible in artificial intelligence. The numbers are mind-boggling. The Atlas 950 Superpod will harness the power of 8,292 of Huawei's custom-designed Ascend chips, delivering computing power that's 6.7 times greater than NVIDIA's most advanced system. With 1,152 terabytes of memory, it's like giving a supercomputer the equivalent of 300,000 high-end smartphones worth of processing power. But Huawei isn't stopping there. Their roadmap reveals an even more ambitious project, the Atlas 960 Superpod, scheduled for late 2027. This beast of a machine will incorporate 15,488 chips and deliver a staggering 30 exaflops of computing power. To put that in perspective, it's enough processing power to simulate the entire human brain's neural network, multiple times over. What makes Huawei's approach truly revolutionary is how they're solving the problem, says Dr. Victoria Chang, an AI systems architect. Instead of trying to build bigger individual chips, they're creating incredibly efficient clusters of processors that work together seamlessly. It's like the difference between building a bigger engine versus creating a whole fleet of smaller ones that work in perfect harmony. The timing of these announcements isn't coincidental. As Western sanctions have tightened, China has been quietly building a complete semiconductor ecosystem. The country's semiconductor big fund has strategically invested in everything from chip design software to testing equipment, creating what amounts to a parallel technology universe. The results are already visible. SMAC, China's largest chip manufacturer, has successfully produced 7-nanometer chips despite being cut off from Western technology. It's an achievement that was supposed to be impossible under current sanctions, yet another sign that China's technological independence is becoming a reality. But not everyone is convinced. Jim Cramer, the outspoken financial commentator, dismisses Chinese chip capabilities, arguing that if they were truly superior, they'd be widely adopted globally. Even Huawei's own CEO, Ren Zhengfei, has acknowledged that their chip technology still lags behind American alternatives in some areas. Yet the market is telling a different story. Chinese regulators have begun restricting NVIDIA's presence in their market, including banning the purchase and testing of NVIDIA's latest RTX 6000D chips by major Chinese tech firms. It's a clear signal that China is ready to bet big on its domestic technology. What we're witnessing is the birth of a new technological order, says Dr. Richard Wong, a semiconductor policy expert. China isn't just trying to catch up anymore. They're building an entirely parallel technology ecosystem that could eventually compete with, or even surpass, Western capabilities. The implications extend far beyond just computing power. These advances could accelerate China's progress in quantum computing, autonomous vehicles, and next-generation smartphones. More importantly, they represent a fundamental shift in the global balance of technological power. This isn't just about making faster computers, explains Dr. Lisa Chen, Director of Emerging Technologies at the Global Innovation Institute. It's about who controls the foundation of our digital future. Every major technological breakthrough of the next decade, from artificial intelligence to quantum computing, will depend on these advanced chips. The global AI chip market, projected to explode from $150 billion in 2025 to $500 billion by 2028, is now up for grabs. This growth is being driven by the insatiable demand for generative AI, and Huawei is positioning itself to capture a significant share of this expanding market. Perhaps most significantly, these developments are forcing a fundamental rethinking of global technology relationships. Companies that once saw China primarily as a manufacturing hub are now facing it as a serious technological competitor. The old model of Western innovation and Chinese production is being replaced by something far more complex and competitive. We're entering uncharted territory, notes Dr. Thomas Reynolds, a senior fellow at the Institute for Strategic Technologies. The question isn't whether China can catch up anymore. It's how this new technological multipolarity will reshape global innovation and competition. As these seismic shifts continue to reshape the technological landscape, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The future of computing won't be dominated by any single player. Instead, we're moving toward a world where multiple technological ecosystems compete and coexist, each with its own strengths and innovations. The race for technological supremacy has entered a new phase, and the outcome will shape not just the future of computing, but the future of global power relations for decades to come.